Hopefully I've got the right cameras. It's Thursday. It's me. Look, there's me. The computer is just that little bit behind when you press the button, which is why I wait and everything. Right, we're doing crochet today. We are. Oh, I came in and I turned the sewing machine on. Well, actually, I put the feed dogs down and then the feed dogs back up because I worked out that was the wrong button, and turned the thing on and then thought, I don't need it. I don't need it today. I'm doing crochet. So what is new? Oh, did you see those panels that Sarah was showing yesterday? They're amazing. Absolutely gorgeous. Hi, Natalie. And Carrie. Hi, Carrie. How are you? They're all in the hall. I came past them, and in the shop. I haven't been able to pull them out and have another look at them. We saw them when I saw them when we first looked at them. Such a good idea, and I really want to try one. I mean, it's not my big thing, but you know, it's one of those things you just think, yeah, I'm gonna give that a go myself. Some of you have already found them on the website, so keep looking, and if you don't know what I mean, go on and look for applique panels. They look amazing. So hi Pat, how are you? And who was that? Eileen. Hi Eileen. Right, we're doing crochet today. We're going to, I'm making a cardigan, and I was showing the girls, and they said, well, why don't you do it as a, it's not really a crochet along. I'm going to show you what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and I'm also going to show you other things that we have in stock as well, okay? We have quite a sizable folder for crochet wearables. These are just some of the new ones. I mean, some of them are on our website. We don't keep up to date with that. We sell so many in the shop. So please forgive us if there's not one in there. So there's all different things here, you know, like there's like a little tank top, which is granny squares. It's just how they're put together. I'll show you how to do the granny square, and then you can go from there. This is granny stripes, and that's just trebles. Anybody who can do a blanket, however, look at this blanket. This is my next blanket, by the way. I'm going to do it with all my scraps. And I have a lot of scraps that really are, at least half a ball. They're not really scraps. This one is the Hexie cardigan. Have you seen the TikTok and everything? These are the Hexie cardigans, and they've got two versions. Yeah, 2 versions. They're very good. They give you the pattern, tells you how many balls you're going to need of each colour, okay, and then on the back they show you exactly how to put it together, how your pieces are going to work out. I mean, patterns these days are really good, and we try and keep a good stock. If they do close in crochet, we try and get them. But all of these, you know, there's whole big swathes. I mean, this one here is a sweater. Look at that. How lush would that be in the winter? And it's a really nice, look at the stitch is really nice, and it gives you full instructions on how to do the stitch and how it's going to look when it's all done. So these are things that, you know, you might want to have a look at. If you're local, come and have a look at our patterns. I mean, this, just for instance, this one would be really easy. Okay, this one is done as 2. I think it's, no, this one is actually just done in 1 piece. It'd be just, if you can do blankets, you can do one of those. We do also, we can email you this if you want I've got links for this if you want it emailed. There's one Learn to Crochet and there's one Learn to Knit, I think, is on the thing. It's a Knit Pro thing. You can search for it was on a yarn shop, you know, Love Your Yarn. So if you Google Knit Pro Learn to Crochet, you can download that, and it gives you, if you have a rudiment idea, it'll help as well. Anyway, this is the one that I'm doing. Okay, now we've got a few of these in stock. I don't think they're on the website. Where are we? Number 3. So, before I go to this, everybody's saying hello. Right, so this is the one I'm doing. Okay, I'm not doing it in these colours because I wanted something that I had at home. So I started with something I had at home, and then I've had to supplement it, as you do. They reckon that you should do a tension square. Yeah, me being me, I didn't. I went straight into doing the squares. Now they say that it should be 9 centimeters, 3.5 inch square. Mine are working out at 10. So at the moment I'm in a 20 to 22, and so that would be that's the 8, 1, 2, 3. So that would be the third one along, where it says I need 15 squares. Because I'm making a centimetre on each one, I'm going to do it at the 16-18, because I obviously am a lot looser than it needs. Okay, so I'm going to make 14 of each. Okay, so we're going to start with the squares. So I have done this one as well. It shows you how it's going to go together. Okay, and it really is rectangles. Okay, there's nothing that is difficult about this. If you can treble, if you can do a treble, you can do this cardigan. There is no reason why you can't. I like Knit Pro as well. They're lovely. Right, so look at these. I've already done. These are the colours that I've chosen to do. I've got pale rose, teal, duck egg, and buttermilk. Isn't that beautiful yellow? So these are the 3 colour. I've done all my pink edge. I've done 14 of those. I'm well on my way for these yellow ones. I get through about 2 by the time I sit down after tea. I'm getting through about 2 or 3 a night, and I'm being very good, and I'm sewing my ends in as I go. Okay, so these are the colours that I'm doing, but I'm not quite sure which colours I'm going to do for my stripes. You know, these stripes. I'm probably definitely go teal, and I want a pink, but I can't decide whether I'm going to do those colours or those colours. I think probably those. There'll be enough yellow in there. So probably those colours are going to be my stripes. Okay, but we will have a look at it as we get to the end. So we're going to do granny square. Okay, this is the one we're doing at the moment. Look at my balls. They're all nicely wound into them last night. Some of them. Look, aren't they beautiful? I love winding my balls up like this. It's nothing I like better than neat balls, eh? So I've got my little bit of this would be good. You could do this in a rainbow, multi-stripes. You could do all of your squares different colours, and then each stripe a different colour. There's no reason why you have to do them all only in 3 colours. Now at the moment I'm loving these. These are the zing ones. I can't remember who does them. They might be Knit Pro Zing, but these were my preferred ones at one time because I liked the handle. And then the one day I didn't have any, so the only ones they had on sale in the show that I was at was these, and I love them. And Linda then bought me a pack then for Christmas, so I've got eagles of them. These go sticky after a while. I don't like the finish on them. So for doing this, I need a needle, and I need my yarn, and I need a pair of scissors. Okay, so my needle for the end. We're going to start with a magic circle. Okay, now there are different ways of doing all of these things that I'm going to show you. This is just the way that I do them. I hold my hook in a different way to Sarah. I might do my, I know I'm more ham-fisted, but I do love to crochet. I'm an enthusiastic person, okay, rather than a professional. Right, I'm going to start with my yarn here, going over 3 fingers, and I'm going to wrap it, and just pull your wrap to one side, and I'm going to hold that down with my finger. I'm going to put my hook under my completed circle and pick up my long thread, and then just come through and make a stitch. Okay, make sure I've got the right one, and I want to chain 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. Now we're only going to be putting 4 clusters in this, treble clusters, to make 4 granny clusters. So you can see the circle. I'm now going to yarn over, wrap the yarn through into the circle, and then pick up my yarn. So I now have 3 on the hook. I'm going to yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, then yarn over into the circle, pull your yarn through so that you've got 3 on the hook, pull through 2, pull through 2. So there's my first cluster. Okay, you're going to chain 2, which will give you these gaps for you to be working into. Okay, and then we're going to do another cluster of 3. So 1, 2. So this first, where I chained 3, that's the first in my cluster. Your clusters are 3, and you don't ignore your chain with this one, you count them. Okay, so that's 3, and then chain 2. So I need 4 in the cluster here. There are 4 clusters of 3. Okay, this is where I get sloppy. So I've tightened up my circle a little bit to make it easier for me to go into. I find I get, my finger ends up not long enough because it's wandering, my ET finger. So that's the first 1, 2, 3. I have got a jumper that I had started at home. Beautiful, beautiful wool. I bought a whole pack. But I'm a big starter and really bad finisher. So I really need to, if I get this one finished, I really need to go and look at that, because I've still not finished my lily blanket. It's just a good job that Anne had. Right, so I've got 1, 2, 3, I've got 4 clusters here. Okay, so I'm going to now take this short end, and you're just going to pull it which pulls that tight. So can you see I'm already down to a square? So I'm going to find the top of my chain, put my hook into the chain like that, and then find my other colour. So my next colour is a pink. So I've used duck egg, I now have pink. So this is where I would slip stitch into the top of the chain to finish that square. So rather than finishing it with the slip stitch in the same colour, I'm going to add this one here and pull it through, which gives you a neater finish. Okay, so again you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, which is the beginning of your granny cluster. Now I want to come into this hole here, so I'm going to turn it. Alright, which means that you can then follow. You haven't got to travel your wool. You're going straight into this hole here. I'm going to hold these threads, yarns, ends, wherever. I want that one out of the way. And I'm going to crochet over them, which then gives them the start of hiding them for when you come to sew them in at the end. So that's the second cluster there. Now we're working into a corner, so every corner you need to put 2 clusters, a cluster, 2 chain and a cluster in each of the corners. Okay, so we've got 4 corners. I need to create more corner, make it bigger. So I'm going to chain 2 and then go into the same chain space that we were using before. Still holding my yarn out of the way, my ends. So it's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we've now created that corner. I'm going to move this threads, ends of yarn out of the way. I've got a corner here, so I'm now going to travel into the next corner. I don't want any chains between. I'm just going to go straight into the corner and put my first granny cluster of 3 like that. Make sure that I chain the 2 and then put in my second granny cluster into the same space. Okay, so what's 3 14s? That's 38, 42. I've got to do 42 little squares. So I'm well on my way. I'm working through it. And what we'll do is we'll come back and I'll show you how to put them together. We could cut that one off, couldn't we? I could cut that one down and take it off so I'm not fighting with that one as well. I do tend to end up with all of these plaited ends because I forget to cut them off. And then we're going into there. This is our second granny cluster in the third corner. Like that. So I've got 1 2 3, 1 2 3, and into the last corner here, like that. 3. So do you all crochet as well? I know there's some of you want to learn to crochet. We will maybe add that onto our list of classes for next year is do a crochet class for those that want to revisit it or whatever. Right, I'm going to find the top of my chain here, and I'm going to insert my hook into the top of the chain. This is always a faff for me. Like that. And then I'm going back to my duck egg. So I've put in as if I'm ready to go into the slip stitch. I like doing the crochet, I haven't got to keep changing the camera. I don't get lost. As long as I got it right the first time, it's fine. So 3 chain, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to turn it because I'm coming into this space here. Like that. I'm going to pull this, make sure it's taut, and I'm going to put my next one in there, like that. Right, this is mid-link. Alright, so I'm now mid-link, so I'm here. We've got 4 corners, but then because we've added 2 into these corners, we've created mid-links. See these? So I've just put this one in, and now I'm going into a corner, so I need to put 2 into that chain space, which increases by 4 each time I do it. So each square, consequent square, no matter how big you go, you always put 2 into your corner, which increases and makes it grow, which makes you go from no middle one, 1, 2, the next one would have 3, and you see 1, 2, 3, and then you would just keep growing. It would just keep growing. So we've put 1 in there, which is enough. I'm going to pull these out of the way, and I'm going into the corner. So I'm going to go wrap my yarn and go straight in and put in my first cluster, like that. Now I'm using DK Special, Stylecraft Special DK. I use it for a lot of my projects. I would like to try this one in or a cardigan in cotton. It would make it a lot heavier. So I've put in my 2 chain there. I'm going to put in my second cluster into that corner, like that. I mean, I do like to work in the cotton. It makes for a firmer crochet, because I'm quite a loose crocheter. You can see all these. Right, so I've got a middle one here, so I'm just going to put 1 cluster in that there, and like that, 2, 3, and then back into a corner. So you fancy a crochet lesson, do you, Carrie? I can't. There we go. Got the chain. Yeah. There's a little girl that keeps coming into the shop. She's been finger crocheting. Maybe I should get her to come in and teach me how to do that. So there's 3, 1, 2, chain, and then another cluster of 3. I mean, I much prefer to crochet than I do to knit. I feel like I dance with my hands when I crochet, even though I seem to be all fingers and stuff. It's a lot easier as your piece gets bigger. However, this never really gets bigger. You're only ever working with 4 rows for these. It'll be interesting when I get to the stripy bit. Okay, we're going into the corner again. Like this. It's going to be difficult once I finish this to not... I already want to do it in other colours, but I'm going to need to maybe try the hexagon. We keep saying we're going to try the hexagon cardigan because it's all over Facebook and, you know, the reels that you get. Okay, so that's 3. I'm going to put 1 into my middle section here. When it came to choosing colours, what do you like when you choose colours? I wasn't sure on these. I was going to put a purple in there, I think, or a pale purple. But when I put them together, I would never normally have put these 4 colours together, but they just seem to work for me. So you know, one of the reasons I stick to a rainbow is because I know that you put all the colours together, they'll go. So 2, 3. There we go. So we're going to go into the top of the chain like that, and we're going to join our buttermilk. So just stick it on my hook and pull it through. Oh, what a word. There we go. Keep that one tight. I think I'm losing that one. I think I'm making it too loose. Okay, so we don't want those. I want these. So let's pull those tight and that one tight. And we're going to put in 3, 2, 3. There we go. And again, we want to come into this one here, so we're going to turn our work and crochet over our ends. 1, 2, 3, like that. Okay, and then we just go around. So are you how many of you are going to festival next week? You know, make sure that when you do come to see us that you tell us who you are, because we'll know your names but we might not necessarily know what you look like. And believe me, names we're good at. I'm not bad on voices, but faces, I know that I know you. As anybody walking into the shop will attest, I'm always pleased to see you, even if I don't know who you are. So 2, 3. Have any of you taught your grandchildren crochet or sewing? What age did you start? Because I do think Erin and Elsie are now, Erin's coming up to 9, Elsie's coming up to 5. I do wonder whether I should be starting them with some of these things. I mean, Elsie, I'm not sure Elsie could concentrate that long, but Erin is at an age, I mean, she was doing knitting with the nanas in school at one point. I don't know whether she still is. I mean, knitting is something that I can do. I just don't particularly enjoy it. I much prefer to crochet. 2, 3. like that. Okay, so we're going along here, just finishing this one off so that I can show you how I put my ends in. Okay, 2, 3, eek, 1, 2. I do like this yellow. You can see why it's called buttermilk. It's very buttery, isn't it? So I'm thinking about decorating my bedroom, and I found some wallpaper. In fact, Sarah found it, sent it, and Dave went, "Oh, I like that," so I bought it. It's a Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen wallpaper, and it's bright. It's turquoise, navy and pink and gold. We're going to go with gold because I don't like mustard. However, I did see a t-shirt yesterday and thought, oh, I like that, and then realised it was mustard. So I think Sarah's rubbing off on me. So I've just finished a blanket in purples, teals and greens, I think. So I'm hoping that'll go on the bed. I'm hoping it will go. So I just now have to decide what colour I'm doing the walls and everything. And once I've got all of that decided and picked out, I'm going to get somebody in to do it, because it needs a ceiling done as well. So if anybody wants a painting and papering job, local, I don't expect you to come from miles away. Nearly there. I've just got this. Yeah, just the one more to do. We're going to go in here. 2, 3. Right. Let me just check I've done it all right. I've got my corners, because I finished one the other day and found out I'd missed a corner out. Right, so we're going to go into the top of my chain here. Ungainly like. So last week I did, oh hang on, right, so I've gone into the chain, I think, there, go in there, that's it, and I'm going to pull it through. Okay, we're going to continue with this because I'm not going on for another colour. I'm stopping at this one. I've pulled it through and I'm going to chop it off like that. Let's make sure all of these are out of my way. Okay, so I'm going to pull that and I'm going to continue with this. Now I know that there is a way of doing it which is even neater than this. Now that leaves a gap and I don't like that. So I saw this on somebody's crochet site. I'm going to take, I've put my ends that I've pulled through on my slip stitch, and I've pulled it through and they say fasten it off. So I'm now going to take my, I'm going to go into the next stitch and I'm going to pull this through, okay, which creates a finished stitch. Now I tend to go into the next one as well, like that, which just gives me a better line. How I finish off my ends, I'm going to follow down this granny treble. I'm going to go under the stitches like that, okay, until I get down there, and then I take my needle and I'm going to go under all 3 of those trebles like that and pull it through, and then I'm going to go back. Now I sort of wiggle it so that it catches. You can see it's not showing on the one side. It catches some of the fibres going under so that I can pull it and it locks. You don't want to pull it tight, but it locks, and I'm just going to cut that off there. Okay. This middle one. Now, they say that the fibres from your wool are going to hold on to each other anyway. Now this one has gone round this way, so I'm going to keep going that way, and I'm going to go in between all these grannies like that and just slip it through to continue it. Now I've already crocheted all of those over it, so I'm just going to snip that off there. Be careful not to snip your old stitches, your completed stitches. This one here has already been anchored in there, so I'm going to go down, follow these granny stitches down here, and that one then will fit in there, and I'll also put that one into and bury the end in there. Now I'm sure there are other tutorials out there showing you other ways. You might all... I didn't chain between the midpoints, Kate. You just chain here. You want to have more gappage to put 2 into there. I think that's why you chain that one, and it gives it a more squared off finish. I haven't chained in between. I'm pretty certain it didn't ask me to chain either in the pattern, because I have to be honest, I've only ever looked at the pattern the once so far. I looked for the colours. Right, so I'm going to bury that one. This one has already come this way, so I'm going to make sure that I can bury it going back as well, like that, and cut that one off like this. Okay, so that is a granny square. So when I've done 42 of these, we will come back and I'll show you how we're going to put them together. If you want one of these patterns, give us a message, and if there's more of you than the patterns that we've got, we'll have to order some in. But if you just let us know if you're interested, then we can make sure we've got some. There are other patterns as well. If you have a look on our website, there's some already on there, and if we get the chance, we'll put the others on. Miss our Beth would have done that. Should have got them on. Oh, what have I done with that? There we go. I'm going to go down there. And I'm going to go in there like that, and then I'm going to take it back through there and hope that it bites. Yeah, a bit of a bite. Now some people, Megan, my daughter, will do all of your granny squares without sewing in the ends, and then leave them all till the end, and then can't face it. So I decided, I took a leaf out of Meg's book and decided that I would do each one. Oh, see, that didn't bite. I was going to do each one as I did it, and that way I haven't got to worry. So far I've been true to my word and managed to do them all as I've been going. That's a short one. Like that. So I'll chop that off and we have a finished square. There we go. So you're gonna, I find them really strange why they only did 3 different ones. It would be a lot easier if you had, so they're gonna go in there like that. I think as I'm crocheting, you can see the more I crochet, the tighter I'm getting. I'm losing stitches, but they will stretch. So we're going to sew them together like that. Make sure that they go in there. So once I've learnt that bit, I'll come back and show you. There you go. That's our crocheted cardigan started. I'm quite excited. Where to get the crochet beginners crochet set sheet? If you Google Knit Pro, learn to crochet, you should come up. If not, email me and I'll send you a link. Okay, it's on a website, but it's really it's a really handy one. It's the one that we hand out when we do a class. There's one for knitting as well, I think, but it shows you how to do a double, a treble, and all of that. Yeah, double, half, treble, how to do a magic ring, how to do your chain and the slip knot. But if you give us an email, I can send you a link for that one. You just found out where we are in Festival of Quilts. I can't remember. I can't remember where. To make granny squares with only 1 thread to sew in. Need to find that. Thanks, Jen. I need to find that. That would be really good. I mean, I don't mind sewing the ends in. I mean, they're so small. Do you know what I mean? And now I have a knack, and they look pretty neat. You know, it's this bit up the top, you know, when you do your slip stitch, I see them doing it. You take, before you pull it right the way through, you take the hook out and you sew it in so it becomes a proper stitch. And I mean, I still have a little bump, but I'm going to sew those together, so I'm not going to see the bump. So I'm not too worried about it. I just have a neater finish than just whipping it through. So I'm quite happy. Thanks, Jen. I appreciate that. What else have you been talking about while I've been there? Okay, bye, Jean. No, didn't chain. You taught your granddaughter crochet and sewing, but now she doesn't have much patience. Is that the granddaughter that used to come to us for lessons? She might go back to it though, Jill. It's a skill that she'll just need refreshing, and you might find she'll go back to it. I mean, Meg would never have had the patience to learn to crochet, but when she was expecting Erin, she wanted to learn to do a blanket, and she's flown. I mean, she is a beautiful crocheter. She puts me to shame. So yeah, I think it's something that I think you have to be at the right age. It's one of those things you want to sit down and learn it with Granny, but you don't really want to stay and do that rather than run around and scream. Hyperbolic crochet workshop. Oh, I like that idea, Jean. We'll have to go back to that. chain idea going from a chain to making something, I get lost and get annoyed with myself. You need to come to one of our classes now. Sarah has only failed to teach 2 people, I think, in all the crochet lessons that we've ever done. There's only 2 people, and I think one of them was our Marilyn, and the other was a lady who went, I can't do that, and then refused to even try. So, you know, she's managed to get everybody, even Sian and I. She taught me and Sian to crochet. In fact, we learned to crochet on geckos. The first year we were in the shop, we crocheted geckos and then hid them around our little area, and the kids had to go and find them. It was good. It was good. Right, I had tried standing trebles to start. No, I'll have to look that up, Jill. Yeah, I always struggle with finding the top of my chain, and Sarah can look at it and she'll just look at it and she'll go, oh, you've missed that there, or this is where you should be. I mean, they look at it, it's like looking at joined up writing, doctor's writing. I can read doctor's writing, but I can't read knitting and crochet, but you know, I'm learning. Right, I am going to bugger off now. I'm going to go and have some lunch. I've got, what have I got? The one with the aubergine and moussaka. I've got moussaka for lunch, so I'm off now. Ah, that's you that's just come through. Thanks, Jen. Right, ta-ra a bit. Oh, next time I see you will be at festival. We'll do a walk around and show you the quilts. I'm really looking forward to it. So, bye.